These people here trying to play these little word games, I'm tired of it, honestly. You can't have an honest discussion if we keep playing these games, these word games, these language games. When we're not arguing about language, we're arguing about reality. What's going on, everyone? It's also Kenny here. Today we're reacting to the abortion debate with pro-life and pro-choice guests on Dr. Phil. Let's get into it. As usual, I'll give my commentary throughout the video. Let's get into it.
As Wade was overturned, a number of states had abortion bans ready to take effect. Trigger laws in 13 states banned abortion immediately or soon after Roe was repealed, meaning the federal ruling triggers a state law banning abortion to go into effect. Some states are already seeing legal challenges to their trigger laws, and there are more lawsuits likely to follow.
No one here is pro-death, and no one here is pro-abortion.
That thing don't make sense to me, right? You saying that, oh, we're not pro-death, but that's the result of abortion. Abortion is the result of a life ending, right? You end the pregnancy, you kill life. You kill the life, right? That's like, let's get to the bottom line here. Like, let's observe the reality of the situation, right? I live in the world of reality. Reality is life is constant. DNA, chromosomes that exist from like the minute from conception that existed. That's the thing that's consistent from when you were conceived and where you are now. Your chromosomes and your DNA. And to not acknowledge that is just that you're just dismissing us. Right? Oh, is the woman's right to choose? We're not talking about the woman. We don't care about the woman. The choice we're saying is that, hey, does one person's right succeed another human's right? Oh, no? Okay, then the human life in your womb has rights just as much as you have rights. I'm all for preventative. Hey, contraceptions all the way. I'm not, birth control, you need all that, go ahead. But the minute the life happens, bro, don't touch it.
The difference is pro-choice and pro-life. Lila, you say some things in the predicate of your positions that life begins at fertilization, that science is very clear about that. And you have to know science isn't, there's no consensus among the scientific community.
There is, Dr. Phil. 96% of scientists say that life begins at fertilization. If you're an in vitro specialist, you're looking to create a single cell embryo, and then you know you have a new human life. So it is a scientific fact.
Dispute that. Like it is. That's not a perception. That's object. This is the world of words that happens with Phil. Phil's talking with a world of words. Oh, I'm trying to word salad. She's talking about world of reality. Here's the reality of the situation. It's a unique life. Never, it can never be repeated again. None will come before it and none will come after it. It's a unique life. DNA is the core argument sense, and then he's going to try to dismiss. And this is where it always infuriates me, because when I talk to my guy friends or whatever, and they're very pro-choice, very liberal, right? Because women want to talk, oh, men should stand for abortion rights until the wrong man give his opinion. Then they don't want men talking about abortion, right? These guys will come in and say, oh, life begins at my perception, not conception, right? Oh, when as I ask them, when does life begin? Oh, when it has consciousness. I say, okay, but because we can't verify when consciousness begins, that gives you a right to kill somebody. I say, if you're asleep, does that mean someone has the right to kill you and you're not alive because you're not conscious right now? And people are like, oh, all I'm saying is we have the most consistent argument logically, right? We say, hey, life begins in conception. Hey, it's a human embryo. It's not anything else. This is why they try to say fetus. It's an embryo fetus. They try to keep it in general terms. Only a human can come from another human. That's it, period. Like literally, like linear, like linearly, everything is concise. Everything's concise and logical. And that's hard to debate. So what are you going to do? You're going to do word salad. Oh, what about the woman's right to choose with this? And then they take out outliers. 1% of abortions are only due to incest and rape. And medical reasons are like a smaller proportion of that in that 1%. 99% of abortions are elective. That means women chose to abort their kid. An abortion, whether a woman gives birth or not, plays no part into her financial outlook. Right? Your financial outlook is all dependent on you personally, not the child. And to try to use the child, like using that as a justification to abort your child because, oh, I'm not ready to take care of it financially. How we survive all these? How the previous generations were able to do it, right? That means you're making a justification why single mothers shouldn't have their kids because they're not in a financially ready position to take care of them. When a baby is conceived, both parents are on the hook for that. That's all. That's the only reason I support child support at this moment in time. But if y'all want to keep going pro whatever, okay, child support needs to go then, because y'all can't have it both ways. You can't be like, oh, I'm pro-choice. I get to choose if a baby gets to live or die, right? Viewing my baby as property because it's my body. I get to decide. So your baby's your property. Then you're treating them like the slave owners treated the slaves, right? I can do whatever I want to it because it's mine, right?
Well, actually, it's not.
When do you say human life begins then?
It doesn't matter what I think. I don't care what I think. What I'm saying is the scientific community does not have a consensus about when life begins.
It's simply inaccurate. It's simply inaccurate.
That's not true. You can go to the body.
A single cell embryo is a unique new human life.
You can go to the body of scientific literature and you can find neuroscientists who say that it begins when there is a detectable brainwave.
But Dr.
Sorry, I keep pausing. I only got in 30 seconds. I know. He's not attacking her statement. Like, he's not deconstructing it. He's not saying, hey, you're lying here. He keeps saying it's not true. And then he keeps pointing to perception. Oh, if a neuroscientist looked at it, he'll perceive that, oh, when does the brain waves hit? No. We're saying, hey, look, we're using DNA as the basis of our claim. Attack that. Oh, you can't attack that because that's irrefutable. Right? Only a living thing can give birth to a living thing. That's theory 1, right? Only a human can give birth to another human. Theory 2. There's a DNA which is consistent from when you're conceived to where you are now, is the blueprint of how you will become, how you age up throughout your developmental stages. Theory 3, like, you guys have to destroy, literally, for pro-choice people to have an accurate attack on pro-life, you have to break those 3 chairs that the argument stands on. You can't refute those, bro. All you have left is to acknowledge and saying, hey, I believe that women should be the gatekeepers of life. They get to be the arbiters of who gets to live or die. That's it. That's the only way you can actually honestly stand up to the pro-life argument. You can't come from a moral position. That's my opinion. You can't come from an honest a moral position, a moral authority talking about, oh, I'm standing for women's rights. It's not a woman's right. We're talking about human life here. Human rights. That's what we're talking about here. You're making 2 completely different arguments. We're talking about the human life in the womb, and you're talking about a woman, the woman who made a choice to participate in an activity that created another life, and she just don't want to take responsibility for it. That's what it really is. We call men who don't want to pay for their kid or don't want to take responsibility for a child that he helped created. We call them a deadbeat, but these women who want to abort their kid for a healthy baby, no medical, wasn't raped, nothing was forced on her. She just don't want to take responsibility for the kid. Oh, I'm not ready. Oh, but you were ready to make it, but you ain't ready to take care of it, right? The same argument we throw on the dudes, and we call them deadbeat dads. I want to throw the same energy at the women. Take responsibility for your actions. If you can't pay the time, don't do the crime, right? That's it. I'm all for preventative. Prevent it, fine. Don't put yourself in the position, fine. I'm okay with that. Contraception, whatever you need, okay. But the minute sperm and egg meet, don't touch it. Don't touch it. We're starting to play like gods here. Like, we're trying to play God here. That's my only. This is one of the reasons I'm so against the people who claim they're pro-choice, because you're trying to start playing God at this point. Because you can't refute that my life argument. You can't dismiss that. Then you have to ignore science. Oh, science is just a belief system. And I didn't even quote religion one time. Let's get back into it.
Phil, in an abortion, if it's not a human life, why do you have to kill it?
I haven't spoken over you, and you keep speaking over me, and I assume that's because you don't want me to finish my thought, which is, if anyone here wants to fact check me instead of speak over me, you can go to the scientific literature and query what the definition is of the beginning of life, and you will find that there are different definitions. And it's up to you to decide what you think, but there is not a consensus among the scientific community.
This is my main issue with this debate so far with Dr. Phil. Like I said, Dr. Phil lives in the world of words where, oh, we're fighting about definition of things. Oh, this is how I define life. This is how you define life. And literally this lady's like, yo, I live in the world of reality. This is the reality of the situation. This is what we're doing. This is the result. This is the result of what we're doing. This is what we're debating about. The ending of a life. Oh, that's not a life. I don't perceive that as a life. It becomes this world of words. And you start debate. Like if you notice most debates that happen between the two political sides, pro-life, pro-choice, Republican, Democrat, it ends up becoming about definitions. You find about definitions. Oh, Trump's a racist. Okay, what is a racist? This person said, oh, if you say anything bad about black people, you're a racist. This person's like, no, is if you have prejudice based on someone's race and you creating obstacles based on their race, that's racism. You get into this world of words and y'all start trying to fight. Oh, my definition is better. No, my definition is better. No, my definition is better. Instead of pointing out, hey, what's the reality? Can I do something? Do I have the same opportunities as someone of another race? Yes. Okay, then then racism is not a problem in my life. Like, come on. Like, it's crazy, man. Honestly, I'm baffled. But let's get back into it.
And it has actually evolved across time. Before we had sonograms, it was a black box what was going on in there. Then when we got to the point we had sonograms and we could see, oh, you can detect a heartbeat. Okay, now, up until then, it was referred to as quickening, when you could feel the kick. That was the beginning of life. And then we got better technology, and then it started to change. But you say...
I'm sorry. It started to change. He doesn't want to, like... He almost destroyed his own little argument here, because as technology got better, we started realizing the signs of life was earlier and earlier and earlier, right? And it's consistent to what I think is always been true. Life is constant. The only time life ends is when either someone kills it or it dies. That's it. That's the only time life ends. You're either alive or you're dead. There's no in between. This isn't the womb is not purgatory. Like, there's no in between. You're living or you're dead. That's it. Life is binary. Y'all could debate me in this. Y'all could argue with this in the comment section. But that's how I view things. I haven't seen anything circumstantial enough to make me think an embryo is a potential life. Sperm and egg are potential life. But the minute you come together, boom, XXXY done. You're on your way to becoming who you're gonna become. Life is a road, and you come, boom, you T-bone me. I didn't make it to my goal. I would have if you didn't come and interfere. And that's what we're doing. We're playing God here. But people don't want to recognize that. People want to, hey, I want this outcome for whatever specific reason that I have. I'm gonna use these things, these exceptions, to justify why I should be allowed to do said thing. That's what it becomes. Thomas Sowell had a quote. He's saying that most politics is about making your personal wants seem moral. And that holds true today. At least with the pro-life people, we're honest with what we want. We're honest with what we're defending. I'm just giving my thoughts. I'm a guy on the platform just giving his thoughts. Let's continue.
It's at fertilization, but at fertilization, there actually hasn't been implantation. And then once there's implantation, then this is a process. And it's all I'm saying is there's not a consensus. And you're saying there is, and that's factually inaccurate.
We can agree to disagree, but I will say, when I was pregnant...
But the literature doesn't disagree.
Well, we should look it up. It's 96% of scientists have agreed when surveyed. But regardless of that point, I think the question is, we know deep down when you're pregnant, there's a new human life. That's why it's so devastating for Nancy, our miscarriage was so devastating. We all know that deep down. These are human beings. That's why it's so contentious. And listen, we acknowledge that all humans have human rights? Because I think what your question is about is about personhood.
I agree with a lot of your points. I'm just saying it comes down to when that life begins.
But I don't think Nancy or others here are saying they're not human beings.
Lila, the real argument here we're having is about choice and a person's right to choose what is best for them, what is best for them regarding family planning, what is best for them regarding their bodies and their ownership. And when we are listening to this debate,
ownership, like that goes back to what I was saying about that. Literally, pro-choicers, I don't know how you would call them, but they're literally making arguments that slave owners did for why they should have keep the slaves. Or what the slaves gonna do about it? Who's gonna tend to our fields? It became everything about me. What I need, why I need them, my convenience, right? And it bleeds into this current culture we live in. We're all about us. We're not. There's no sense of community. There's no sense of family. There's nothing. It's all about what I want. I want a family when I'm 25. Like, everyone wants to kind of determine how their life should go. And in reality, that's not how life goes. Life is zigzags. You can plan for your life, but life is like, hey, your plans be damned. This is what's going to happen. You don't choose what happens to you, but you only can choose how you respond. That realest thing I ever heard in my life. But let's get back into it.
We're constantly getting back to about who's deciding what. If you determine for yourself that's when life begins, that is fine for you. But someone else may determine something completely different. And this is where, from a pro-choice standpoint, we're saying it is not for us to decide for anyone what they believe, how they believe, but they have options. So I think we need to really pay attention to what pro-choice is really arguing, what we're really talking about. It's about truly, if we are giving people the right to choose, we're allowing them to make the best decisions for themselves, for their bodies, and for their families.
Do you have a...
So yeah, that was a little quick debate about between the two sides. You could hear their arguments. If not, I leave the clip in below so you can watch the full thing without my commentary. My final thoughts are her last point when she was saying that she's about choice. My argument automatically goes back to, you guys already know my stance. What about the baby's choice? Right? Don't like I said, your rights end where another's begin. Right? You're making the choice for the child that, hey, you should die. How is that fair to the child? That's why the child's the least protected entity in the society. Where women feel like, oh, this is my property. I get to decide what the hell happens to this thing, whether I get to keep it or not. Like, what? Come on. And then when they get big enough, oh, they're independent. Like, they always were. It don't like, oh, we don't just be like, oh, magically they become something, or it was dead inside the womb and then magically it grew a heartbeat. No, it was always alive. Only something living can give birth to something living. Humans can only give birth to humans. So if every human deserves human rights, what about the rights of the unborn child? That's a core argument you have to refute before you start talking about what your rights are. Because at the end of the day, I'm saying, hey, your right conflicts with the rights of the child's right to life. That's what we're saying. We're saying that women can't beat the gatekeepers of life. Y'all can't. My body, my choice. No, it's a little synonym for I want to be the arbitrary of life. I want to decide whether my child lives or die on my terms. That's you want to play God. Just admit it. Let's be honest here. As always, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.